creepy cupcakes, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am doing this Santa's helper from Santa's workshop from hell look. Let's get into the video. So my first clip did not record, but all I did was take some lime green body paint and just kind of make a little neck part to the costume in that lime green body paint. And then with red body paint, all I'm doing is filling in the bottom half underneath that lime green that I put down. I'm leaving a little bit of a gap in between. As you can see, I kind of left like a little gap right there, and that's just because I wanted the suit to look a little torn because, you know, it's a rough life being Santa's helper. With black eyeshadow in a medium fluffy brush, I'm applying the black eyeshadow underneath the neck piece that I did. I'm applying this quite messily because I just wanted the costume to really look dirty anyway, but I am applying it a good amount underneath that neck piece because I do want to create a shadow. I'm also taking that up onto the collar because I want the collar to look quite filthy, so I felt like that really added to that. I'm also adding a green eyeshadow to the neck piece as well. I felt like if I added a little bit of a more vibrant green, it would kind of start giving a dingy effect on the light green. With a small detail brush and black eyeshadow, I'm just defining that shadow that's underneath the neck piece that I did, keeping that nice and close to the line because all we want to do is create a little bit more of a shadow and create that deep depth. I'm using a wet washcloth to start wiping away the body paint in random areas to create holes in the costume. If the material has some holes in it, it's most likely going to be frayed. I'm using a stippling brush with some red body paint on it, and this is going to create some very fine line strokes, and it's going to give that frayed material look. Even though you most likely can't really see how frayed it is very small, but over time of buildup, you'll be able to see it a lot more visibly. I'm working on the red parts first in the red body paint area. And then with a fan brush, I'm taking some black eyeshadow and I'm laying that right next to the edge, just kind of highlighting a little bit of the fray, but also deepening it up and drawing some black lines as well. I'm also taking some tan body paint and I'm making some stitching to hold that piece together, and then a little bit of stitching on another patch just so it kind of evened out a little bit. To make that fray pop, I'm taking that fan brush and white body paint and I'm creating strokes going kind of forward and backward to make it look a little bit messy, but also make some of that red and black pop out, and it's really going to make that fray show up very well. I'm using a deep brown eyeshadow on that detail brush from earlier, and I'm deepening up the areas where the string is like going inside of the material. That area would definitely be dark. I'm also darkening up the string a little bit, creating a shadow on the string, and then I'm also creating a shadow that is being cast from the string onto the material. With white body paint, I'm creating a highlight on each of those little string pieces. To make the highlight a bit brighter, I do go on top of the white that I've already laid down, just with another coat of white real quick. Alright, so I was going to stop here, but then I figured maybe I should go back and deepen up some of the areas and make them pop a little bit more. With a little bit of black body paint, I'm just deepening up some of the areas where I laid down black eyeshadow, and I'm just trying to make pretty much those pieces of string kind of pop out even more and make them look, by adding a little bit of the black body paint, it really does make the effect of each of those strings look like they actually are kind of popping away from that material, which is what I wanted. So you can't really see the eye makeup, so I'm going to speed through this real quick, but I put down some eyeshadow primer and I'm going to just apply that primer all over the top of my lid. It's going to create a very nice white base. I'm going into the Makeup of Murder Paint Chips palette and I'm going to be using the green shade to make a cut crease with it. I'm packing in the dark green color, and then I also snagged a little bit of a lime green color from another palette. I'm using a flat brush to pack on the red eyeshadow, not sweeping it, just packing it on top of my lid. I'm also using a black eyeshadow just to deepen up the outer corner. I'm doing the same look on the other side, except for I'm just flipping it and doing a red crease. To make the eyes look extra droopy and saggy, or I don't know, tired AF. I'm using a white body paint and I'm going to just do a little thin coat underneath each of the eyes. This is just going to kind of give the appearance of the white eyeball is kind of showing up a little bit and it's being pulled down just a little bit. I'm also going to be using a red-ish maroon color to start bringing down that eye and just making, I don't know what the anatomy is of this, but just, you know, making these eyes sag because this Santa's helper is like super tired and is being worked to the frickin' bone. To create some texture in that pulled down lid, I'm using this little nail brush with some white body paint, and I'm just making some tiny lines. Once those dry down a little bit, I'll pack on that little bit of eyeshadow to make them kind of appear a little bit further away. We don't want them to be that vibrant. I'm using some black eyeshadow to deepen up the eyelid area, that red area that's being pulled down. I'm going to take the black eyeshadow on the sides and just try to shade the sides a little bit to give some dimension, and also pack on some shadow on top of the white lines that we drew to make them appear a little bit further back. With white body paint, I'm sketching out where I'm going to be laying down the wax, and I'm going to be using this spirit gum. I'm going to apply it only to half the side of my face so I can work in sections. I rolled the wax into like a little worm and I'm just smashing it kind of against my skin to make sure that it really is adhering to my skin before I start using a spatula to smooth out those edges. Once I feel like I have that pretty adhered to my face, I'm taking a spatula dipped in some Vaseline, and that's going to make sure that the spatula isn't really sticking onto the wax. And I'm going to be using that spatula to do the bottom half of the wax and the upper half of the wax to make sure that it's extra secured to my face. I'm going to be using the Ben Nye liquid latex and a wedge sponge to seal over that wax. If you don't seal the wax, it will end up actually like melting and like moving around your face, so you definitely want to seal it. I'm tapping the liquid latex with my finger just to kind of blend it out a little bit into my skin. For the inside of the mouth, I wanted to do a little bit of a build-up to make it look a little bit extra gory and not so flat. With liquid latex, I'm putting some liquid latex down, and then I ripped up some toilet paper and I'm just applying that toilet paper right on top of the liquid latex. I'm not really doing this in any type of form. I just want it to be very built up so that when we go to put the blood on top, it's not just a flat face and it has something like kind of like rigid underneath to give it a little bit more of an effect. I'm taking some brown eyeshadow on a detailed paintbrush. I'm drawing some lines right underneath the eyelid to give that drooped effect. We really want that illusion, so we do need to draw those lines, give them a little bit of shadow with them. Going in with the Milani Conceal and Perfect foundation. Love this foundation. It's definitely very full coverage, and I'm just applying that with a beauty blender to my face and just covering up all the areas of my skin. With a fluffy brush and some purple and brown eyeshadows, I'm just making the eye area look kind of a little bit bruised and a little bit worn out. I'm also taking those shadows onto my nose. I totally didn't even realize that I didn't make a little nose. I really wanted to make a pixie nose, but totally freaking spaced on that. With red body paint, I'm just covering the entire inside of the mouth just with a red base before we start adding the blood on top. I'm applying some fake teeth. I made these out of some polymorph plastic. You can find it at any craft store now. You just melt it down and then make what you want. I'm applying those with some liquid latex so they sit on my face. I'm dipping into this alcohol activated paint. You do have to have some 99% alcohol in order to activate these paints. I like using these on my plastic because they will not come off at all. When you use the water-based paints, they do tend to come off and they don't go on as nicely. These do also go on a little bit more opaque, so it does kind of look a little bit more real. I went in with the brown and the yellow shades just to dirty up the teeth. I painted a piece of cardstock silver, and then with my scissors, I'm just gonna cut off some kind of shorter pieces and make them not too thick. These are going to resemble some staples. Using my fingernails, I'm just going to bend the edge on each side, and there you have your nice little staple. And I'm just sticking these right into the wax, and they hold well just alone like that, so that worked out perfectly. Probably one of my favorite parts in all of the looks I do is applying the blood. I'm going in with this stage blood on a fluffy brush. I would definitely suggest using a brush that you don't really care about. Even though this does wash out, I do have specific brushes I use for SFX stuff. So definitely have a little side SFX brush. And I'm just kind of layering that on top of the red paint I put down, and then kind of blotching that around my face to make it look, I don't know, a little bit more bloody. This didn't really make a whole lot of sense, bloodying it everywhere, but I like that. And I'm going to be applying this screen green contact to my left eye, and then with my right eye, I'm applying a blind white contact. Literally cannot see out of this contact at all. And this is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been a long time since I created a YouTube video, but it's good to be back. And if you like the video, please make sure to give it a like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.